At the foot of a great mountain lived a stonecutter. And this stonecutter every day would walk from his one-roomed hovel up the hill to the mountain and tap, tap, tap away at the stone. And it was hard work, and it hurt his back. Now one day the stonecutter was tap, tap, tapping away at the mountain when he looked around and he saw that no one else was working. "Hey," he said, "what are you all doing?" And his friend said, "Haven't you heard? The Lord Mayor's coming by. Everyone's got 5 minutes to have a cup of tea and watch him and wave at him." "Yeah, I'll come join you." So he put down his tools and he got himself a cup of tea and he watched as a procession came up the road. The stonecutter saw the Lord Mayor in the middle of that procession, sat on a nice comfortable-looking chair being held up by 4 burly men. The stonecutter looked at the Lord Mayor and thought to himself, "That looks like a pretty nice life. I wish I was the Lord Mayor." And just like that, everything around him changed, and the stonecutter was sat on a very comfortable chair being carried by 4 burly men. He had become the Lord Mayor, and he waved down at everyone as he passed them by. You can wave too. Hello, hello. And he carried on past the mountain, through the town, waving down at everyone, hello, until he got to a house. This was a big house. It had 10 bedrooms, and every bedroom had a TV in it, and the fridge was full of food. It was nice being the Lord Mayor. The stonecutter enjoyed it immensely. His back stopped hurting. And one day, he was enjoying watching telly and eating some food when the phone rang. Hello? It was the king. "What? Do I have to?" The king demanded that all the Lord Mayors in the whole county come to his palace and bow down in front of him. The stonecutter Lord Mayor had no choice. He had to get into his carriage and go to the palace. And when he got there, it was filled with Lord Mayors just like him, and they were all on their knees bowing down to the king. So the Lord Mayor got onto his knees and bowed down. The stonecutter Lord Mayor felt his back twinge. He didn't like this. He looked up at the king, who was sat on a very comfortable looking throne with a red cushion, and women were feeding him grapes. "That looks like a pretty nice life," said the stonecutter Lord Mayor. "I wish I was the king." And just like that, everything around him changed, and the stonecutter Lord Mayor was sat on a really beautiful throne with a red cushion, and women were feeding him grapes. He had become the king. It was good fun being the king. He had a huge palace to run riot in. He had an army that he could send all the way down to the beach just to bring them all the way back again. It was great. He had so much food and chocolate whenever he wanted. And he also could party and demand that everybody party with him all night long. But just when he was enjoying his party and it was just getting going, the sun would go down. "That's not fair," Stonecutter King said. "I don't want to go to bed." But the sun had gone down, so he had to. And then every morning when he was nice and cosy in his bed, the sun would come up and he'd have to get up. "That's not fair," he would say. "I don't want to get up. I'm happy being asleep." But the sun was up, so he had to get up. Now one day, the Stonecutter King was sat on his throne looking at the sun. And it occurred to him, that sun has power over me, the king. I wish I was the sun. And just like that, everything around him changed, and the Stonecutter King was up in the sky looking down at the whole world. He had become the sun. And it was great fun being the sun. He could shine down really hard on people and make them hot, make their heads go red and make them take their coats off. He could also see everybody in the whole world. Who needs television? One day he was watching a man and a woman have a very big fight. And he was wondering who was going to win, but all of a sudden, a cloud came in front of him. And he couldn't see the man and woman, and he couldn't see the end of the fight. "That's not fair," said the Stonecutter's son. "That cloud has power over me, the sun. I wish I was a cloud. And just like that, everything around him changed, and the Stonecutter became a cloud, floating through the sky. And it was good fun being a cloud, because you could go this way and that way. You could fill up with water and rain down on everybody there. He liked doing that. Now one day, the Stonecutter cloud was floating through the sky when he got to something. He couldn't go over it, and he couldn't go under it. He couldn't go this way around it, and he couldn't go that way around it. It was a mountain, a huge mountain. That's not fair, said the Stonecutter cloud. That mountain has power over me, a cloud. I wish I was a mountain. And just like that, everything around him changed, and the Stonecutter became a mountain. He was big and strong, and it felt good being a mountain. He could see as far as he wanted, surveying everything going on, and he could feel people as they tried to walk all the way to his summit, but they never got there because he was so tall. And one day he felt something right down in his foot, the foot of the mountain, and when he looked down there was a tiny man, and he was tap, tap, tapping away. It was a Stonecutter. Ow! That's not fair, said the Stonecutter mountain. That Stonecutter has power over me, a mountain. I wish I was a Stonecutter. And just like that, everything around him changed, and the Stonecutter was right back where he started, at the foot of a great mountain, tap, tap, tapping away. And when the Stonecutter went home that night, he was glad to see his one-roomed hovel. He had a cup of tea, and he decided that never again would he wish to be anything other than what he was.